Biggest difference is academic requirements. So in Canada, when you're applying to university, they take your, top 6 grade 12 university level marks. But the NCAA, they're basing your 16 core courses from grade 9 all the way to grade 12. So your academics, you need to focus right away, because what you do in grade 9 matters when you're graduating in grade 12, which, isn't necessarily the case in Canada. So that's, one of the big things is understanding that the education and how you become eligible academically goes from grade 9 to grade 12. Your core courses being, your English, your math, your science, social sciences like history, geography, and then you can take, French, Spanish, foreign languages. But knowing those requirements is a big thing. And then you need to have highlight film. So whatever you can get, that's how you're being evaluated on. So, if you're not on a team where they film your games, get, somebody to film your games so you can make a highlight film of your play so that coaches can evaluate you. Because, it's hard for any coach to really seriously consider looking at you if they've never seen you play. Obviously, it's tough right now for us in Canada with COVID. So, if you're a grade 9, it's not so much a big deal. But, in place of that, doing agility drills, workout drills and training drills is stuff that kind of supplemented that now. And then the big thing is, your social media is very, very important. So you need a Twitter account if you want to get recruited, because all of the college coaches are on Twitter, and that's NCAA and U Sports. That's the biggest recruiting platform out there, and it's the easiest way to find coaches, because you follow them. If they follow you back, you send them messages, but you need to be on there so that you can connect with them. From the NCAA, they can't directly contact you until September 1st of your junior year, which is your grade 11 year. So if you message them, they can't message you back, but they can read your messages, and they can watch your film and stuff. But it's important that you need to be able to contact coaches, and they need to be able to contact you. And then making sure that you're somebody that your coaches will value and recommend. One of the things that our program has done since we've started was really build good relationships with a bunch of college coaches from all levels, Power 5 all the way to junior college in the States, and then obviously all of the U Sports schools in Canada. And if you have a coach that people trust that recommends you, that's going to help with your recruiting. And if they see your film and they're interested in you, and they message, your high school coach, your 7-on-7 coach, your club football coach, whoever it may be that coach you, if they won't recommend you, you're not going to get recruited. So you need to have the character and be the type of person that, people want to recommend. And if D1 is your goal, understand that there's very limited opportunities for each school to offer scholarships. So you have to be exceptional, especially being from Canada, in all areas. You need to have grades. You need to have the talent. Typically, you need to have the physical traits, the height, weight that they're looking for. But you need to be, somebody that because they're going to talk to your high school coach. Sometimes they'll even talk to the school's janitor or cafeteria lady, because if you're, the big cheese on the football team, everyone in the school is going to know who you are. And I've actually, had coaches tell me of stories where they've, not offered kids because they got, a bad report from the hall monitor, or, someone who says, yeah, they're disrespectful. Like, everything matters. So you're pretty much under a radar for everything you do. And it's even more so at the D1 level, because they're investing so much money in your scholarship, and there's so few, opportunities. Just so, you're aware, typically there's a maximum of 25 scholarships per year. And that's a maximum depending on what the school has for FBS. And FCS has smaller numbers. So 85 total for FBS, 63 for FCS schools. So if you're thinking, there's over 1 million kids that they could potentially recruit for these positions, you need to check all the boxes. So you need to really, you need to have the work ethic in the classroom, in the weight room, on the football field, be a good person, and be able to be seen. And definitely getting with people that can help you develop, whether it's a strength and conditioning trainer, whether it's a 7-on-7 club like, us, or, if you're out in Alberta or BC, you can look up any of the clubs that are out there and get their help. And then, you need to be with people that know, how to kind of get you where you want to go. For us, we've been fortunate that, in our 4.5 years or so, we've had 14 guys that got NCAA scholarships, and, we're closing in on 40 guys that are playing in youth sports. So, we have kind of built the platform for us to help kids getting recruited, whether it's through our own contacts, going to the tournaments, going to camps. So you need to be able to be seen. And I would, say, especially for Canadians, unless you're a 5-star recruit that, everybody in the country is offering, the only way you're really going to secure the opportunities is by going to the college camps. And, Jackson talked about, 20 kids getting offers, in a day or two. And it's actually happening for Canadian kids that were fortunate enough to go down to the States and go to some camps and are getting, significant offers. There's a D lineman that, just was there for a week, and he got a dozen D1 offers in a week of moving to the States, just, by his performance at camps and, being with the right people. So if that's your goal, that's where you need to be, going to the college camps. If you're unfamiliar with it, right now for the whole month of June is like a buffet. Like, college coaches are traveling all over the country. There's camps, in every state, all schools, all levels, and, going to places where you have a legitimate shot of being recruited, based on, your size, athletic ability, academics. There's a lot of schools that you have to have a higher grade point average than the bare minimum to get an NCAA scholarship. So figuring out where those are and finding, those opportunities is the best way. And I guess the biggest thing above all else is, believe in yourself, because if you don't have the confidence and you don't believe that you're going to make it and you're not fully invested in it, then, it won't happen for you. And, we've had athletes that, have been a part of our program that, have had the potential to go, to the highest levels, and, their work ethic and their grades and just, their character and personality wasn't at the same level as their talent. And ultimately that can affect you in a negative way. That's why I said, you have to kind of be the best in all areas. And, if you ever want advice, like if you follow our Twitter at MVPFA 2016, we do a lot of Q&As for recruiting, and, we have a lot of college coaches that follow us or that we talk to. So if you ever want any recruiting information, you can send us a message on there, and, we're happy to help as many kids as we can. And, we charge. Oh, last piece of advice: don't pay for a recruiting service.
There you go. I'm
money.
glad that one came up, because I think one of the things, and there's so many businesses around the sport, right? And I get that everyone is trying to make money, and I understand that, and people need to make money, right? Like, I'd rather people be in a job where they're trying to help kids than just some other job. That's great. But I think kids can't, I had no intention of going to the NCAA, because I knew I wasn't going to be the athlete. I could check all the boxes. The athlete box was not going to get checked. So I was just really fortunate to get a great opportunity here at the U Sport level. But, kids, I think, are always, like, every human being in the world is looking for an easier way, right? Like that, there's so many things to do, right? It's so hard. We all want to make things happen. And, there's so many different ways you can spend your money. And I think when you talk about, like, the camps and being a part of programs that are going to help develop you, like, the football side is most important, right? People can say, oh, if you don't get the exposure, you'll never make it. Well, like, that's true. But if LeBron James was born in Winnipeg, he would have made it to the NBA. You know what I mean? Like, the elite player, especially now, right? And maybe, 30 years ago, that might not have been as true just from a pure exposure standpoint. but like everyone walks around with a camera in their pocket better than the one we filmed CFL games with like 15 years ago. Right. So, don't, if you're a high school athlete, I think the biggest thing you can take from what Phil's saying is it's possible. It takes a tremendous amount of work and sacrifice from you, and you got to pursue the right opportunities and just doing the hard work, right? Like it's a business, and those teams are in the business of winning games. And, you have to understand the level of competition, even to get to the U Sport level. I think a lot of times people, like I'll be talking to a high school athlete and they'll be like, oh yeah, like I want to go D1. And I'm like, look, dude, like with all due respect, you haven't made the decisions to put yourself in that situation. So why don't we just try and like, let's see what we can do in this next year to change that. But like you've got to have the right mindset and understand, hey, this is a job interview from the minute you get into grade 9 through hopefully to when you sign the paper. And that's just to get your ticket in the door. And then after that, that's a whole other show in itself.